Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. I hope that there is no one standing because we do have a few seats. Okay, no one standing, cool. So do you remember 10 years ago, 2007, when people didn't really think that smartphones would really become something? Do you remember 2008, only top executives and a few nerds starting buying these smartphones and actually using them? And do you remember how straight after this trend exploded upwards? And finally, do you remember how many of you maybe thought, oh, I wish I had spotted that trend a bit earlier. I wish I had put more resources into it before? I'm not asking for a show of hands, but I'm sure it happened in some companies. This change is happening again right now, towards conversational computing and smart assistants. You may have heard this morning from Rishi that products of the future, I'm trying to quote precisely, products of the future should be conversational and assistive. This is what today is about. This change is happening right now, and we're just at the beginning of this typical new product adoption curve. We've spotted the trend, we tried to apply it to us at Google, and this is why last year we've announced the Google Assistant. It's a natural conversation between you and Google. The assistant is there to help you throughout your day. And it's there to help you and to help users across more than 100 million devices. It's there on your phone, it's on Android, it's on iOS. It's there on your watch, in your headset. You can have the Pixel Buds, but you can also have the latest Bose headsets, for instance. The assistant is there. It can be on your speakers. We have Google Home Mini. We have more speakers that are integrated from Sonos, Sony, JLB, and so on. It can be also on your laptop if you get a Pixelbook. It can be on your TV if you have an Android TV. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. I think I covered them, most of them. And there are more surfaces coming. There may be a huge hint on this slide, but I'm not going to spoil it just now. There are just more and more surfaces coming. So the audience is pretty big. And the beauty of the assistant is that it blends the latest advances in terms of machine learning. You've heard so far this morning a lot about machine learning. It has also artificial intelligence and natural language processing. So it creates this very advanced conversation that is assistive. And when I say conversation, I don't mean just voice. Because with the assistant, you can talk, but you can also type, you can tap, or you can even use your camera. Meaning you're in a session, let's say, during a conference, approaching lunchtime, you want to organize your lunch plans. Maybe you don't want to speak to your device. Maybe you want to use a keyboard instead. You can do that. Or even within the same conversation, you may start with your voice, asking for a nice restaurant, then being willing to look at a menu and tap a few options on your screen, and then use a keyboard to actually confirm your order. So all of this can happen within the same conversation. And with the camera, if you're in a super busy situation on the street, you don't want to use a keyboard, you don't want to try to shout at your device on the busy street, you can just use your camera, point at something, and get the assistant starting from there with the relevant information. This is the beginning of your conversation directly from your environment. Extremely powerful. The assistant is really there to help you get things done. From your daily things, like building up your shopping list, to enjoying your media, your favorite media at home. You can start your music. I know I use it to start head, shoulders, knees, and toes to play with my little one at home. I don't have to take out my phone. I don't have to do anything. I can just talk to my Google Home, and it starts. So you can start your movie as well. You can also dim your lights to enjoy that movie. You can do all of that. All of your comforting zone at home, you can set up thanks to your assistant. Same in the morning. You're in a rush. You're brushing your teeth in the bathroom. You can listen to your news using the assistant. There are already many features that are available that can really help you get things done throughout your day. And with Actions in Google, there is going to be much more. So what you want to do as a company? First of all, the assistant comes with all of the Google properties. So you want to make sure that you're happy with your presence within the existing Google ecosystem. Are you happy with the way you show up on search, the way you show up on maps, with your content on YouTube? Because all of that, that's the beauty of the assistant, can be leveraged to your users directly. We're going into machine learning, so it's going to be leveraged, but it needs to be right. So make sure you invest some time on that. Same with your data. If you are, say, a news publisher, you want to leverage your archive corpus. You may want to throw a few markups at it before it's leveraged by the assistant. But all of this thinking, you need to keep embedding in your roadmap to make sure that you can leverage the full power of the assistant. The second layer where you can take action, and this is why we're here today, is Actions on Google. It's the developer platform that allows you to build stuff for the assistant. From the smart home integration, if you happen to produce your own smart bulbs, to creating conversational apps. And we're super proud because we launched Actions on Google last year, only in English, only in the US, as we tend to do, because that's where our engineers are, and we need to get started somewhere. But already over the past months, we've added, first of all, additional variations to just English. So now you can build specifically in British English, Australian English, Canadian English, and also in additional languages, Japanese, Korean, and my two favorites, in French and in German. If you're talking about a voice product, this is a tremendous accomplishment. But it was not enough for our engineers, so they kept adding stuff to what you can do with Actions on Google. And they added a few visual elements as well. So now you can embed an image carousel to make sure that your user can swipe through the options that are available. You can also use a few suggestion chips so that if your user is using your assistant app on a phone, he can be guided throughout the conversation flow. You can give that input to the conversation. And last but not least, bless you, we've added transactional capabilities, meaning that users, in the US for now, but coming soon to the UK and to further countries, users can now order goods and services. Just imagine the potential of that. This is pretty big. And what I'm trying to say here is that now is really the right time to start building an app for the assistant. You have a massive audience, more than 100 million devices. You have a platform that is not crowded yet. And for some services, we barely have any app yet, or we don't even have anyone yet. So you have a massive opportunity there to be the first. And you have the opportunity to be the first or even second, which globally is still pretty good. You also have, thanks to the assistant, to the conversation product, you have the opportunity to have this one-on-one conversation with your users. If you wanted to call them one by one, you couldn't do it even so precisely. This is a brand new technology where you can address them one by one, separately. They're all signed in. So just make sure you leverage that. And in terms of timing, the last thing you want to do is to wait for additional features to be available in your country. You don't want to wait for, say, transactions to be available in Germany before you start looking at your 2018 roadmap and see, OK, which developer can we free up 20% to start looking at this? What you want to do is to build a team right now, have a few people, give them the time to learn about smart assistants, not just the Google Assistant, all of them. They need to learn, they need to train themselves, they need to launch, they need to iterate. And you want to be ready so that every time a new feature, a new capability comes in, you're already there, and you only have to enhance. So this is very important. Start building your team right now. And here are a few insights, briefly, to get you started. Conversation is more than information retrieval. This is very important. Everybody is super curious, I'm sure, about the address of your business, your opening times. But for a smart assistant, it can be a bit boring. You may want to do more than that. You want to try to be entertaining, where it fits, and customize in your information. You also want to be assistive everywhere where your users are. We said you have 100 million devices. You want to make sure that you build an experience that fits for every device, so that the user doesn't see you as a nice app they can use on their Google Home, but as the one app they want to use for this service throughout their surfaces, on their watch, on their phone, on the go, any situation. And last but not least, when you start building your app, the first thing you have to do before you even build is to think thoroughly about your use case. You want to take 1 or 2 days, a very conscious mindset from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed, and identify all of these tiny moments where you think, I wish technology could make that easier for me. If you find one that fits well with your brand, you have your use case, and this is where you should start building. So with no further ado, I think it's better that I stop saying you should, you shouldn't, but that you hear from someone who has gone through this process. And please welcome on stage Bling from Blinkist.
Thanks. Hi, that's my face. I'm Ben Schuman-Stoler. I'm the head of audio at Blinkist. Blinkist is an app that is helping people learn by taking the core ideas of nonfiction books and giving them to you in a way you can either read or listen to. OK, so why were we so eager to build an app for the Google Assistant? Quick show of hands. This is kind of dumb, but it's easy. How many people listened to audio content in the last week? Podcasts, interviews, yeah, everybody. So why were we so excited to build something for the Google Assistant? Because audio is magic. You guys all said you listened to audio, but not just that. You guys were probably doing something while listening to audio. And audio is magic because it's the only thing that you can fully focus on while fully focusing on something else. How else can you describe or explain that feeling when you put on your favorite episode of This American Life, and then it's over, and you come to, and all of a sudden dinner's ready? Audio is magic. And at Blinkist, we're trying to figure out how to give people these kind of aha, enlightening moments in ways that fit their lifestyles. A modern knowledge worker needs to learn everywhere. So this is the Blinkist Minute. Originally conceived, we used it to give people more content, a cool 1 minute's worth of information, a cool fact, cool story, joke, takeaway from a great book, in a way where they already were. We met them where they were, in their inboxes. It was a daily email. Audio can work in the same way if you meet people where they're already listening. Go to where people are already listening. Seems simple, but it's actually awesome. Because as we've already learned, the Google Assistant is going to be available on 100 million plus connected devices. And that's even more important considering what we know about how people are listening. You guys all raised your hands. None of this is surprising anymore. Let's take podcasts as a stand-in for audio content that people like to learn from. It can be interviews, it can be courses, it can be audiobooks. We know that people are listening a lot, and it's growing. And we know that people are listening everywhere. They're listening at the gym, they listen at work, they listen in the car, they listen on the bike. And with 100 million plus connected devices, it's a no-brainer. So that's why we were so excited. How did we do it? A few simple steps. Click. Number 1, find a developer. See you out there, probably. Number 2, lock down a persona. More on that in a second. Number 3, start on the conversations and use the tools that Google gives you. 3 and 4, real quick. Conversations is becoming like a buzzword now in the term. We heard Laurence talk about conversations as more than information retrieval. Go through the Google documentation on conversations. It's really helpful. Because as you all know from first dates and bad networking events, starting a conversation is hard sometimes. And that's because, like our testers found out when we put them in a room with Google Home, with the Blinkist Minute on Google Assistant in the home, the question is sometimes, what do I say? And that's the whole thing. It's not easy to start a conversation, especially with something new. So you could see that as a challenge, or you could see it as something kind of fun. We have a new technology, and we get to play with it and figure out how people are going to use it. Because the technical implementation is not really the challenge. There's a lot of smart people here. Google has made it so easy to make this stuff. Even I understand how to do it. And it's not the challenge of actually building the tech. The challenge is going to be how people use it. What do I say? What am I talking to? What is it actually going to do once I say something? And then, so that can go down a kind of scary, mind-bending path, but we try to keep it simple. Instead of thinking about what am I talking to, we took Google's advice and tried to think about who am I talking to. I mean, Blinkist is a company that is trying to help people learn. We read books. Like, it's awesome. And our products have to reflect that because it's what we know. So if we're trying to help people learn, the minute the assistant, the minute on Google Assistant, she has to have a persona that makes sense. She's friendly. She's attentive. She's funny, but she's also smart. She's got it under control. She wants to help you learn something. She's going to be wherever you want to learn something, right there, give you a quick minute to help you out. And that's just a piece of advice I want everyone to keep in mind. Laurence also hinted on it. We don't know necessarily how people are going to use these technologies. They're out there for us to build. We're going to build on them. But if we don't know what habits, what behaviors they're going to lead to, then stick to what you know. Stick to your brand. Stick to your use cases. So we'll cue up the video. There's a 1-minute video of how the minute for Google Assistant will work.
OK, Google, talk to Blinkist Minute.
All right, here's the Blinkist Minute.
Hey, sleepyhead. We're adding some joie de vivre to your mornings in this Blinkist Minute called You Snooze, You Lose.
You can soothe your email addiction in this Blinkist Minute called Stop Looking at Your Emails Now.
You probably know that your liver is essentially your body's sewage plant. In this minute, we take a look at a surprisingly simple way to shave a few inches off your waist.
How much do you concentrate on your food when you eat? You probably tend to gulp down your food while reading, messaging, or gawking at videos.
Study after study has shown that in order to perform at our best, we need a good night's sleep. Listen to this Blinkist Minute called Thomas Edison, the man who hated sleep.
The Blinkist Minute, helping you fit new knowledge into your daily routines. Big ideas from nonfiction books brought to life.
OK. It's cool, right? Again, something the video is trying to show, meeting people where they already are, giving them audio where they already are through the assistant. To finish, what I want to say, like, we're all in here because we want to see where this is going. This was super helpful for me. If you don't know, follow the advice of wizard man David Allen on the Simplify podcast. Look it up if you don't know it. And just get moving and course correct. We got moving. I hope you guys do too. That's it for me. I'll give it back to Laurence to finish this off.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for sharing your learnings, your best practices. Very briefly, we've just launched a community program. This is for developers. There are some perks. First of all, if your app is reviewed and approved, you can get $200 per month in cloud credits. This should cover more than what you need to run your app, so it's a nice perk. You also get a very fancy T-shirt, so don't miss out on that one. And very importantly as well, if you have high usage, an engaging app, if you internationalize your app, you're going to be able to win Google Home and additional goodies. So it sounds a bit trivial, but hopefully it's a true motivation. There is obviously like a winner dashboard, so it should be a nice motivation for the developers. And here are the resources. The very fancy QR code here. We made it happen. There is even a small teddy bear in the middle, if you can spot that. That's going to lead you to the instructions to try out the assistant depending on your device. Now, if you're more on the product developer side, this is what you want to take a picture of. These are the links that are going to bring you to the relevant documentation, developers.google.com/actions. You have everything from the design to the console to the review process and the policy process. We also have a developer community. There is a G+ community. There is a massive community on Stack Overflow. And we have a mailing list. So if you want to know the latest, what's happening, what's launching, what's enhanced, do make sure that you sign up for that newsletter. And it's a global newsletter, so you're going to hear from the latest in the US, but also for your region and your country. Thank you very much.